Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm going to share my screen here and we will get started in just a moment. Okay, thanks for joining me again for another monthly What's New at Woven call. So I am Trent Gladis. I'm the Director of Customer Success here at Woven. And today we're just going to run through new functionality that's come out over the last month or so. We're going to jump into it pretty much immediately. Let me make sure we're recording this so it can be shared out later, which we are, and we will go ahead and dive in. First thing on my list to show you today, very briefly, is a new widget on the homepage. So on this homepage, if I go over here to the right-hand side, there's this Who's Working area. And if you click on it, there is some new information here. So team members will be able to look at their location and know kind of who's working with them that day. Are people already punched in for their shifts, things like that. This account right now, I don't actually have time clock enabled on, but you'll see, again, just who am I working with today type of sentiment. That's brand new. Also scheduling related, there is in the schedule builder, you now have the ability to schedule shifts in increments of 5 minutes. You previously were not able to do that, but now you can. So when you click the increment of time, it now increments up in in a minute intervals, just like that. As we continue to cruise on some of the updates here, the next ones that I have to show you are in account settings. So in account settings, if we go up here to the right-hand side by your name, if you're an admin, you have access to account settings. If you click on account settings and you go into security tab, some updates here. One of those updates is you now have the ability to look at security roles by action rather than by role name. So the default, what you're seeing here is the experience as it has always been. And you can click into a security role like this and then manage permissions for this one security role across all your features. The update is rather than doing it that way, I can click this action view here. And rather than managing by security role, I'm managing by feature. And so I can expand a feature. Here are all the permissions related to that feature. Here are all my security roles across the top, and I can manage them in bulk and make updates across many security roles through this workflow rather than one at a time. Similarly, related to that, you can now compare roles. So if you're over here by the add button, if you go over to the arrow icon and click down, you can compare one role to another role to compare and contrast the differences amongst the two. And last but not least in here, we also have the ability to copy from a role. So if you go to a security role, you'll now see this button here and you can copy permissions from a different security role. So if I wanted this owner security role to mirror the admin security role, I could do that with just one click rather than many, many clicks to configure every single permission. So quite a few quality of life updates when it comes to admins and security roles in Woven. All right, moving on to the next things. There's a few things on the work orders side. The first one is this concept of location warranties. So in Woven today or previously, you weren't able to track warranties on a location level, right? I have a general contractor warranty. There wasn't a mechanism for that in Woven. You could track a warranty for parts and labor and extended parts and et cetera on an asset record, but you just weren't able to do it on an individual location level. And now you can. So if you go to a location under location management and you go into the documents section, down here at the bottom, there is this new area for location warranties. Click add, type in what type of warranty you have. And these are the current options. What was the start date of that warranty? When does it expire? Any notes about it? Does it apply to only certain categories of equipment potentially? And upload a physical copy of it here. And then Woven will begin to then know when you are opening work orders for that location that you have a parts and labor, in this example, warranty at that location. That's brand new functionality. Next, also on work orders is a new configuration. So under work orders settings, under configuration, there is a new configuration here for require a note when closing. So this is an all or nothing decision for the account. And what this does is as you close a work order, there's always an area for a resolution note. And if this toggle says yes, that resolution note becomes a required field. You cannot close without typing something in that text box. All right. Next, also for work orders, is an update to our export. So under work order management, you go to the 3-dot ellipsis over here and you click on export work order data. The side panel pops out. And this list of filters has been updated. So you can see there's many options here. The big update really is that the filters that you have here on the management of this list now are mirrored in the export functionality. So you can do the exact same filters. Okay. Next one is a pretty big update. You can see this area where it says pending ratings for work orders. So we have a new concept of basically ratings or surveys after work orders. And so if I have this enabled, if I go to a work order and it is closed out, they can be rated. You can see here I have a new thing to rate. Here, Lauren was the assignee. If I click on this, I can say, was the work satisfactory, yes or no? How many stars out of 5 am I going to rate the work? Any optional comments? And any optional photos to supplement my rating, and then click submit. Then in some of our reporting, such as our insights and our scorecards, you will be able to see people's star ratings next to their names like this. So here is a fictitious maintenance person in our account. Bobby has a 4.7 across 6 ratings so far. Here's what his ratings look like. And over time, you'll be able to see things like last 30 days, previous day, 30 days, and trends. Those trends just are not available yet because this feature has not existed long enough to have the data points for those trends. Ratings are brand new. In order to configure them, show you this really quickly. Under settings, under work orders, there is a new ratings tab. And by default, it is turned off. So it looks like this. And if you hit yes, you can then configure it with these options. And I'm going to talk through those options here in a moment. So if you don't want all types of work orders to be available to be rated, you can unselect certain ones. So as an example, let's say I don't want PMs to be rated. I can tweak that. I have this option for throttling. So the idea here, it says in the text, ratings within a 7-day window. And so I can put a throttle on that. So in this example, per location, I can have 4 ratings in a given rolling day 7 window span for just for one location, and 5 ratings for one assignee in that same span. If I don't want to have any types of throttles, I just type 0 in these boxes. And then there can be an unlimited number of ratings for both the location and for the assignee, or you can determine any other value that you would like. Over here on the right, we have some configurations around unsatisfactory ratings. The first one is simply what is unsatisfied equal. So in this case, I've taught my account that 2 stars or fewer are unsatisfied. And I also have said that there are going to be events that are triggered because of an unsatisfied rating, which are these 2 decisions down here. So when I see an unsatisfied rating in my Woven account, the work order in question is going to automatically reopen because I've taught Woven that that's what I would like. It is also going to send out an unsatisfactory work order rating email because I've told it to. That email can be configured under account settings, notifications. So if we go to notifications for work order related, there is a new unsatisfactory review work order email that can be configured for a distribution list of your selection. Additionally, under the rating requirements here, you have the ability to require comments based on the star rating. And so I've taught my Woven account that if there are 2 or fewer stars, that I'm going to require a comment. It no longer becomes optional. In the same way, I'm also requiring a photo when I am giving a star rating of 2 or fewer. And so again, that's all configurable. So that's a pretty big update when it comes to work orders, and all brand new as well. Looking through my notes, then we've covered the data export. We've talked about the rating system, and we've talked about security roles and location warranties, as well as the new notes for requiring work orders. One that is not necessarily happened in the last month, but I will mention it, is also new, is time punching on work orders. So if we go into the configuration tab, there's this new section under work order settings for work order behavior time punches. Again, by default, this is disabled. But if you would like people to, they can now essentially clock in on work orders. And I'll show you how this works. So if I enable it, I'm going to say yes. I can set a max punch, meaning how long can I physically be logged in to Woven on a specific work order before it clocks me out effectively. The default value is 8. Am I going to require a note when somebody is essentially clocking into a work order? I can have that off. I can have it as an optional note, or I can have it required. And then is Woven going to capture this person's geolocation when they're punching in? Is it required that Woven's going to do that? Is it optional, or is it off? I will mention with that, as far as capturing their information, this does require that on their phone, if they were doing this on a mobile device, that they've shared their location with the platform. Okay, then once you've configured those things and people have permissions to do this, we go to a work order. You're going to see this new time clock area over here, and I can click start. In this case, it's gathering my location, and I'm now punched into this work order. It's going to start to increment up in seconds. And then if I were to navigate away, this little widget across the top is going to follow me around Woven to identify that I'm currently punched into a work order, just like this. I can click back on that to navigate back to the work order. I also have the ability then to view things like a time log. So if there are multiple people that have worked on this job, I could see that here. If I'm an admin of the functionality, I could potentially void a punch if it's not supposed to be here. I can stop the timer. After I've stopped it, I could potentially edit the punch if I needed to, just like this. I could manually log a punch outside of the time clock experience, and all of those are user permission based, which I'm going to show you in a moment. So that functionality is all new as well. Related to those things, there are some new permissions. If we go to account settings security, I'm going to show you these very briefly under my security role. So under work orders, new permissions are work order ratings. And this is going to give them the ability to have that ratings queue that you saw me navigate to right here. And who has access to that by security role. Additionally, there are permissions related to the time punch functionality. So there's kind of two major ones. Who's allowed to edit punches is this bottom one. And the upper one is, am I able to start or stop the punch? Basically, am I able to clock in to a work order myself? So 3 new permissions related to the functionality that we just saw. All right. Let me navigate to a different account. And there's a couple more things I want to show you very briefly, and then I'll let you all go. So I'm going to navigate to a brand account. And I'm going to go to this brand account here to show, there's not a lot to demo on this because this is very, very new, but I wanted to make sure I got it on this call, which is brand accounts now. If you have your entire organization on Woven, you would have a brand account. And in that case, there is now available brand chat. So there's now a chat bubble in this experience, and you can chat amongst yourselves as a corporate team. See here, I have a corporate chat that I can use. That's new functionality that did not exist on the brand level, as well as this dashboard has been reworked and basically looks entirely different. This used to just be a map. Now there are quite a few interactive widgets and things like that here that you can take a look at if you happen to be a brand user and have access to a brand account. So that is all new as well. Yeah, so as on this call, that is quite a bit to show, pretty heavy on the work order side. As far as enhancements, we are continuing to work on things around communications and getting some additional functionality out on that. Yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for the time. Let me know if you have any questions or reach out to your CSM if you'd like to learn more about anything that we covered today. Talk to you next month. Yeah.